Hello again and welcome to the Retirement Bullseye video blog. This is Mario Giganti, president of Cornerstone Capital Advisors and author of the newly released book, The Retirement Bullseye. Today, I want to cover how much, on average, your employees need to save in order to create their paycheck for life in retirement. We will discuss a calculation known as the Rule of 72. This is a shortcut for figuring out how fast your money can grow. Or, in reverse, how fast inflation will reduce the purchasing power of that paycheck for life. Now, before we dive in, if you're just interested in learning more about my process right now, or you want to know the strategies for creating your optimal retirement plan, please click on the link below and I'll send you a free copy of my book, The Retirement Bullseye. Also, if you'd like a free, complimentary vendor benchmarking report that we call a request for proposal analysis, go ahead and click that link below and send us an email as well. Employers, employees, and reporters often ask me a basic question. How much do I need to save in order to prepare for retirement? We typically reply that on average, employees need to save at least 10% of their pay year in and year out to effectively accumulate enough money to create a paycheck for life. Again, this is just an average. More importantly, your employees need to calculate how much of their income they need to replace when they get to retirement to successfully replace their income and have that paycheck for life. Unfortunately, in our experience, most employees don't know how to do this or don't spend the time to do so. It's unfortunate because it's the most important number. Now, how is this calculated, you might ask? Well, we have a technical word for it. It's called the income replacement ratio or the income replacement formula. Every employee should know this, and every plan sponsor should know this for each of their employees. And this is how it works. On average, at retirement age, your employees probably likely won't need 100% of their income. Instead, they're likely to need only 70%, 80%, or 90% of it. Why? They are typically saving some of that paycheck, and they're likely not to pay as much in taxes when they retire. So let's consider an example. Imagine you're 40 years old and your annual income is $50,000, and you decide you want to retire at age 66 and start collecting that paycheck for life. After all, that's why you're working. We'll assume that Social Security will make up a portion of that income replacement. If you only need 80% of your income, that equates to $40,000. Now, that's $40,000 in today's dollars. But complicating matters is this little problem called inflation. You may have heard of this term. The economic definition of inflation in layman's terms is too much money chasing too few dollars. Inflation erodes your purchasing power over your retirement years. So you need your income and your savings growing to adjust for a higher cost of living. This is where the Rule of 72 comes in. The Rule of 72 is a shortcut to figuring out how fast your money will be eroded by inflation. The Rule of 72 helps you figure out how long until your income erodes in half. As an example, if inflation rates are 3%, you'll take 72 and divide it by 3. Now 72 divided by 3 is 24. Therefore, it would take 24 years for $50,000 of purchasing power to erode to $25,000. Now let's look at a real-world example of this. Using the same assumptions as before, working until age 66 with an annual income of $50,000, replacing 80% of that $50,000 would equate to a need of $40,000 per year. However, in 24 years, that $40,000 is only going to be worth $20,000 in terms of purchasing power. That means you would need to plan for replacing $80,000 in the future just to keep pace with inflation when you retire. If you are thinking this sounds too complicated or wondering how in the world your employees can calculate this, I have good news. Most 401k record keepers have calculators that will help your employees calculate their income replacement ratio and the effects of inflation. As a matter of fact, there are even some who calculate a monthly income for each participant at retirement age. For example, if somebody needs $2,000 a month to live on and they have only $1,300 projected, the calculator will notify them that they will be short at $700 per month and inform them how much additional money they would need to save at a reasonable rate of return and a 3% inflation rate in order to create that paycheck for life. If you would like a list of these record keepers that do these calculations and convert the lump sum amount needed into a monthly amount, email me at the link below. What we are covering here is very important. You see, if your employees don't know their retirement bullseye, which is how much income they need to replace, what inflation will do to their paycheck over time, and what they need to save as a percentage of their wages, they likely won't have enough money in their retirement account to create the paycheck for life. In addition to the record keeper's calculations, we can create something called a gap statement for each employee. The gap statement simply performs the retirement bullseye calculations for them. As a matter of fact, with all of our plans, we create a gap statement for each of their employees. If you would like a sample copy of our gap statement, feel free to email me again at the link below. Our mission is to help 10,000 employees over the next 10 years understand what their paychecks for life look like. If you have any questions about income replacement ratios or you'd like to connect with me, don't hesitate. Please send me an email. Until next time, this is Mario Giganti, the Retirement Bullseye Coach, looking forward to helping your company and your employees prepare for retirement.